Happy lunch hour, gang. All right, so it's fall, and like a lot of you, I'm starting to work on garden cleanup. Things are done, dying, tomatoes are over, and time to rip all this stuff out and put it in compost piles, right? Just one. This is what got me thinking about, hey, I've never done something like this, and this might be a beneficial idea for a few people. Well, I was out yesterday working through the gardens and sure enough ran into a fire ant mound, and a lot of you can probably relate to that, okay? So you got to get rid of fire ants. And okay, if you want to go out and poison your soil and stuff, throw Roundup in there or, some sort of chemical or whatever. And there's a much better way that's, I won't necessarily say cheaper, but not going to damage your soil. So a lot of you probably know the orange oil deal. Mix about 4 ounces of orange oil in a gallon of water, break up the mound, pour the orange oil mixture in there, and you have an ant killer. There's something that we should all have plenty of around the house, probably have some at least, but something to add to the kitty that you might want more. How many of you have a bunch of this? Okay. Dawn Blue dishwashing soap. It's a lot more than just washing the dishes. Okay. And you all remember the commercials of, how Dawn got big after the Exxon Valdez, and they still have the picture of the duck here on there. The oil spill up in Alaska decades ago, where they were out washing all the oil off of the waterfowl. Okay. It was probably the greatest marketing piece ever because Dawn by far now blows away Palmolive or Joy or Ivory or whatever for the dish soap that people use. But there's a lot of other uses for it that people don't know. Now, why do I put it in with my orange oil? Because it makes it about 4 or 5 times more effective. It will stick in there with the orange oil and not just eventually evaporate or drain through the soil. It will stay there and kill the ant piles. Really good. So one thing that Dawn's really good for, add a couple of teaspoons to your mixture of orange oil and water, and you've now got a more effective ant killer. But let's say you have ants in the house. And I want you to think about this, because when we get into, even using this stuff now is obviously it all works, but think about what you're going to have the ability to do if we have any sort of collapse, okay, an SHTF event, big or small. You're going to have to find natural ways, organic ways, inexpensive ways to get rid of stuff. There ain't going to be an exterminator to call. So let's say you got ants in the kitchen, which is going to be a possibility when the world goes to shit, okay? You can put a little bit of Dawn around your doorways, okay? Just wash the floor a little bit with Dawn. That will repel bugs from coming in, okay? That slight soapy residue isn't going to be a problem for you, but it wouldn't be a problem for your dog or anything like that. Dog licks it. It's not a big deal. But the ants can't stand it. Bugs won't deal with it. So it's a good bug repellent, not only for the house, this being number 1, but let's do number 2, bug repellent. Gardening season, besides killing ants, well, how many of you guys have asked me about, let's say aphids or something like that are on your fruit trees or on your vegetables or whatever, okay? If you've got them, easiest thing to do, mix a couple of teaspoons of Dawn into a spray bottle with water and spray the aphids. You'll kill the aphids quickly. No chemicals, okay? Because again, it's sticky and it sticks to their body and they will die. You're not going to prevent infestations of aphids. It's not going to keep them from coming back. But if you see aphids out there, you just and you've got rid of aphids. Okay, just a really good idea there. You got fleas on your dog. Okay, here's another, again, same thing. Number 2, killing insects. Obviously, you want to have flea prevention for your dog, but okay, in a SHTF situation, getting your flea material eventually could run out. Pets.com or PetSmart probably not going to be open. So what do? Again, the stickiness of Dawn is very good. Put a couple of teaspoons of Dawn into your dog's bath water. Give the dog a bath. Don't do this all the time because it'll dry the dog's skin out, right? Okay. But the stickiness will get on the fleas, and instead of the fleas floating to the top of the water, they will sink and they will drown, okay? So you can use it as a flea and tick shampoo to get rid of the fleas and ticks on your dog, okay? And that's something that you can certainly use right now, right? Okay. So Dawn is very good at getting rid of bugs. Who knew? Okay. Let's go into number 3. You get hurt, and whether it's you just smashed your knee on concrete or your back sore from chopping wood or whatever, and you want an ice pack, okay? Some people go, hey, I got a bag of frozen corn in the fridge. Yep, that'll work, okay? Thaws out pretty quick. A lot of us have the frozen ice packs, that you buy in the store. Okay, do that. Here's another idea. Take a Ziploc bag. The quart-size ones work really good. Fill it with Dawn. Get as much air out of the bag as you can, and throw it in the freezer for a couple hours. It won't freeze solid. There's an advantage, okay, as opposed to ice cubes or something like that. But it'll get very, very rubbery. And now you have a moldable, flexible ice pack that you can put on your knee, your back, your shoulder, whatever you need. And when you're done using it, you can just drain the ice pack right into your bottle of Dawn and still use it for washing whatever. Makes a great ice pack. I've used that many times, okay? Here's another. Probably not going to find a plumber. Say you've got a backed up toilet, right? I mean, practical uses here. You're probably not going to be able to go to Walmart and buy a can of liquid plumber or jar of it, okay? You take Dawn, put about a half a cup of Dawn in your toilet, then get, maybe about a half a gallon of hot water, not very hot, but not boiling water, and pour it into your toilet. And it works as a great clog buster. Works on the sink, same way. Again, the properties of Dawn to break down grease or whatever will break down anything else that could be in your toilet and your kitchen sink, whatever, works really good for that. All right. We'll go back to gardening real quick for the next one. All right. You put weed killer in your garden. Some people do. Maybe you use Roundup. Maybe you use vinegar. Okay. I mean, not necessarily in your garden. Maybe it's on your sidewalks or anywhere you want to get rid of weeds and you want to spray weed killer. A lot of us do that. Poison ivy killer, things that you want to get rid of. We'll get to poison ivy in a second too. Add some Dawn to the liquid. Again, why? Because it's sticky. And how many times have you gone out, sprayed your weeds, and watch as the stuff drips off the leaves? Mix some Dawn in there. It sticks to the leaves and will make your weed killer much more effective. You'll have more weed killer on those leaves to kill them. Okay. I've done this many times, and a lot of times you'll go out and kill weeds, and maybe it takes 2 or 3 applications to kill something, especially like poison ivy. I put the Dawn on there, it's done with 1. Okay, just giving you that as an idea. Again, talking about poison ivy, something you all know, I know very well. Jewelweed soap is expensive. Okay, jewelweed is very good for getting rid of poison ivy, or making sure you don't get it. You got out in the woods or whatever, you come back in, the first thing you want to do is wash with jewelweed soap. Washing with regular bath soap, Ivory, Coast, Safeguard, whatever you do, yeah, it's okay. But the Dawn will break up the urushiol in the poison ivy, and you can wash it off a whole lot better. You will significantly improve your chances of not getting a bad breakout of poison ivy. I mean, again, we're talking more than dishwasher when you look at it here. One you guys probably know well because it's good for grease is cleaning your tools, right? You're out working on the car, the lawnmower, the four-wheeler, or whatever, and you're going to get grease on your wrenches or power tools, whatever you're using, a ratchet. Soak the tools in. Now, again, we're going to talk about non-electric here, but soak the tools in a mixture of Dawn and water, and it will break up all the grease, and you can clean your tools up really well. In that, using it as a lubricant. Anybody ever think of this one? You got a squeaky sliding glass door. You got squeaky hinges. Anything like that? Take a little bit of Dawn in your sliding glass door, put it in the tracks. Just a little bit, okay? Got squeaky hinges, put a little on your finger, rub it on the hinges. It acts as a great lubricant. It lasts a whole lot longer than any of WD-40 or sprays or something like that. And you don't get that oily residue dripping down the woodwork or on the floor. It's a good way to be quiet. And I'll tell you one thing, in an SHTF event, stealthiness is going to be very, very important. You're not going to be wanting to make a whole lot of noise. For those of you guys that live up in the north, okay, we're coming into winter, rock salt that you put on your driveway, put on your sidewalks or whatever, that's expensive. And in the spring, you get the joy of, gee, I've killed all the grass around the edges of my sidewalks or my driveways or whatever. Yeah, you don't need to. Make a mixture of about a tablespoon of rubbing alcohol, a tablespoon of Dawn dish soap, and some water, and spread that out on the sidewalks and the driveways. What'll it do? Well, the rubbing alcohol will help melt the ice. The Dawn helps prevent it from refreezing. Okay, so here's a way less expensive way to de-ice stuff, which up north in the wintertime is going to be very important, that you can do with something as simple as Dawn soap. Last one. How many of you guys ever painted something? Paint a room, paint a car, use a can of spray paint, whatever. You get paint all over your fingertip, whatever. Sure, you can put on gloves or anything like that, right? But, if you're painting a room, let's say you're using a roller and you're doing a ceiling, you get paint on your face, right? Here's a little trick. Take a little bit of Dawn, rub it in your hands, and just put it over your face, put it all over your hands. Let it dry. It doesn't get crusty or anything like that. But when you're done painting, now you can just wash your hands. That paint is sitting on top of that soap residue. It'll wash right off, no problem. It works really well. It's kind of like putting on a glove without the weirdness, the loss of dexterity or your fingertips or whatever that a glove would give you. I just wanted to give you some ideas there because it was like I said, I got to pull out the Dawn today to do this. And I was like, Christ, all the things that I use Dawn for, I'll bet you there's a whole lot of people that don't know some of these things. And yeah, I've learned them over the years and other people have shown me. It's not like I made all this stuff up. But it's a good prep to have. Get the big bottles, get a case of them, get 6 or 7 of them, and just have them put away because they're very useful 4 seasons of the year. Just thought I'd share that one with you. Have a good afternoon. Pinball out.